Checking connection. You're now live.
We are live.
Good morning. Are live. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Behind the Sign, we are episode 15. Thank you so much for joining us. For anyone that doesn't know us already, I'm Sarah DeBoer, Jacqueline Clement, Jessica Menard, and the beautiful Esther West from Olive and Ash is joining us today. We wanted to do something a little bit special today, so we're on site at a gorgeous home in Mono, not Mono, just outside of Orangeville. So today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. Of course, we're going to touch on our market stats. We're also going to do a little bit of interactive how-tos today, going over 2023 design trends with Esther, who I'd love you to give her a follow on her Instagram. So Olive and Ash Staging and Interiors. She's in Orangeville. Highly recommend her for anybody looking for any staging and design purposes for your home. But recently, Esther, you were at, what was it called? The IDS, the Interior Design Show.
Yes. We had to Google that.
We did. We were like, what's IDS?
It's not the greatest sounding.
No,
Yeah.
it sounds like a medical disease. But I saw a bunch of stagers going there and everyone was filming live. And so I wanted to we wanted to know, what was the best thing you found there? Like, what are the design trends? What kind of paint colors are we looking at? Like, give us the juice.
Okay, so it's interior design show happens every year. It's kind of a good spot for people to go to get up to date, see what's coming up, find new wholesalers and people who are the best of the best in their industry. So people doing stone, people doing tile, all that kind of thing.
Cool. Okay.
But backing up to the fall, we were also at High Point Furniture Market, which is basically everyone from all around the world comes to do shopping for home decor.
This was our
all
shopping
sorts
day.
of. This was our shopping day.
Yeah.
Do you have to be a designer to get into these?
You have to be a yes,
Can
you
you
or you
print
have
us
to
a
be
tag?
a trade.
I was like, I'll write this out. What is it?
It's very overwhelming. It's like 9 city blocks of just everything. Yes.
Sounds like a dream.
Yes. We were there for 2 days and I mean, we scratched the surface. We maybe did like 10%, if that, of what was there. So, but I actually think they had the best projections for what was coming, even more so than the interior design show, because this was geared more towards like local in Toronto people, whereas High Point is trying to project upcoming trends to like literally there's people there from India, people there from Spain. We met all sorts of people.
Cool. Okay, so
Yeah.
when you see like some countries get farther ahead in styles and
Yes,
design, we're kind of
exactly,
following that. Cool.
exactly.
Awesome.
So I kind of put together a top 5 design trends that we're seeing coming in. I could have gone on
It's your notepad
for
already.
many more, but I was like, let's just narrow it down. So the number one.
I'm ready. Okay, we'll come back.
So the number one is obviously what everybody's talking about is this return of color.
Yes.
I am very, very excited. I'm very much over the grays and the whites. And while those are good for certain things, if you're trying to sell your house, you want to keep it neutral.
Yeah.
But for those who want to be up on the trends and are intending to stay in their house for a little bit longer, color is coming back. So we're seeing jewel tones, earth tones, soothing greens. All of this is coming in and I'm very excited and that will translate down, we're not just talking about wall colors,
Right.
we're talking about everything. Yes,
your cabinetry.
yes, and your decor accents and all those kinds of things. And a great way to try it out if you're a little bit hesitant is on a bed. So we'll get to that, right? But okay,
Stay tuned.
yes, stay tuned. So the second thing is mixed metals, and I've been preaching this for a really long time.
I love mixing metals.
I love
It's
mixing
always
metals.
like, don't do it.
Right.
Yes, and I remember like even when I was younger, jewelry, people were like, we were gold and silver together, and that's kind of when I started being like, no, I love that. Yeah, and especially in a home when you're mixing metals, that's where you get that more designer inspired look as opposed to when you buy a builder basic home and you move in, everything is the same color. Your doorknobs, your faucets, your electrical fixtures, your hardware, everything is the same.
Right.
And it falls a little flat. So that's coming in, and that's even a good thing to do when you're preparing to sell your house is just change up some of those things. So if you're going to change out your, let's say your vanity fixture in your bathroom and you have a chrome faucet, that doesn't mean you have to put in, and please don't actually put in a chrome light fixture, shake it up, do black, do brass, do pewter, really anything. And don't be afraid to get creative with the mixing metals because it's really coming in.
Okay.
I wonder how my
And-
OCD is gonna feel about this.
You can do it.
It's one of those things that when you're doing it yourself, it looks so wrong, but if you were to walk into
Yes.
a room that say, they
Yeah.
knew that you had just styled it, you wouldn't even question it.
Yeah.
Well, and sometimes it's just retraining your brain, right?
Yeah.
Because you think it's wrong because you've been told it's wrong and you don't see it that often, but it actually is really beautiful.
Makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it.
Okay, so number 3 is natural materials, and this is another one I'm really excited about. And on the same tone as this one, we're actually going to see a move away from, fast fashion, fast furniture. So actually, the generations coming up next are much
Yes, please.
yeah, so they're much more interested in sustainability, and there's almost like this desire to be connected to the past. So instead of, IKEA, oh man, we use it for 4 years, it's broken, they're getting rid of it. They don't want to do that. They want to recycle. So it's thrifting and, passing down grandma's hutch, but like repurposing it with some modern pieces on top. So the juxtaposition between something old and something new is what we're going to be seeing a lot of. And so that just ties into the natural materials. So people want real wood as opposed to the veneers and the stuff that just you basically have to throw away because you can't do anything with it.
Like velvet's coming back huge.
Velvet's
huge
coming back
furniture.
huge. Yep. And lots of things. So the jute,
Velvet,
like
like
you're right,
yes.
like we were saying,
Yeah.
that's going to still be around. Wool, cotton for decor pieces. We're seeing a lot of clay, earthenware, and that's all really beautiful on the eyes as
Yes.
well, because there's so much texture. It's really stunning. So that's another one I'm excited about. I'm excited about all of them. I'm gonna say that on every one, just excited. So then the fourth one is this 60s and 70s influence. And we're seeing that in clothing, 100%. I'm even wearing like bell bottoms. And that's all coming back. So especially
The egg in the snow, I have short legs.
we all have our burdens to bear. So just like, we're seeing it in the clothing, and it's gonna be in those statement pieces from the 70s that kind of have staying power. So while the 60s and 70s trend might go out quickly, there's pieces that are going to last. And so a return to the darker color woods and we've had a lot of the blonde wood and staying away from wood. That's all coming back. People want those warm tones.
Yeah.
It's comforting. It's warm, and people are hungry for that almost after what we've been through for the past few years.
Yes.
People want that coziness back.
Yeah, I feel like we've really started to see that in light fixtures.
Yes.
Change, like all the sconces coming back and like
Yes.
the very
Yes,
yeah,
I
retro
love that.
look.
Love a sconce.
Yeah.
Yes, and all like a lot of the rounded things. I mean, statement lighting, that's a whole nother one that I could have gone on to, but statement lighting is huge right now too.
So the
Yeah.
really weird looking seashell on my wall, I should just keep that.
Yeah, it'll come
God.
back.
It'll come back at some point. That might be when the 80s comes back,
Right.
which it will. So.
Just hang on to it.
Yeah, just hang on to it. And then the last one I want to touch on is another big one that people are talking about, which is kind of like goodbye to minimalism. And it's much more of a curated maximalism. So not hoarding, not stuff everywhere, but taking pieces and then using them properly so that,
We
it's not
kinda
clutter.
touched on that yesterday. So
Yes.
yesterday, Century 21 brought Esther into our office. We had like a content lounge, and they hired Olive and Ash Staging to do this yesterday, and we were just amazed because one of the things that we personally love about your staging is the amount of accessories and blankets and pillows that you make. You really
layering.
fill a
Yeah.
space.
Yeah.
Like, is that what you mean? Like, really just
Yes.
not those 3 things on a shelf? It's shove a bunch, as long as it looks nice
Yes.
and displays.
Well, and
well.
that's always the key, right? It has to look right, and it has to be done properly. And there's you can Google it, you can YouTube like how to properly style a coffee table. So there's lots of ways to figure out how to do it, but it extends even into other things like just more lamps around and more throw pillows and just all of these things that kind of had shifted out. And like I want to be clear, minimalism as a style will always be here because some people that's what they love. But minimalism as a trend that we had been seeing, that's what's on its way out again as people are looking to feel more connected and maybe have more pieces from the past and a mix of those new and old elements and bringing it all together. So instead of like clean slate, have the things, enjoy the things, right? We love this, but just keep it clutter-free.
One of my favorite things that you do in every place that you stage that I've seen is your incorporation of books
Yes.
into staging.
Yeah.
And again, that adds to that layering and that hominess feeling, but you're not literally just putting a book, you're using them.
Yeah.
to put other things.
Visually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
add
and
some
books can
color
be
and
used in
texture.
so many ways, and books are another thing. So for us, like, and it's especially me, I love to use the old things. So every few months we do a trip to Value Village,
Mhm.
and I have no shame
Yeah,
in saying that
yeah,
because
yeah.
you can, if you're willing to search through, you can find the greatest items. And a lot of times we'll find a book and we'll open it up, and in the front cover there's an inscription like to dad or whatever from. And I love, and maybe it's silly, that we get to take that book and like give it a new life, right? So it's not just gonna get thrown away, get recycled, something like that. It's repurposing it, right? So books have so much life, but
And
I'm a
if they
reader,
have
so do I.
sleeves, take the sleeve off. And,
Yes.
like how beautiful a lot
So
of them
pretty, yeah.
are under that sleeve is to
Yeah.
yeah.
100%. And again, too, if you have a book, you know, when you're shopping your own house, which I like to talk about, but that could be a whole nother segment. You
The
know,
boxes of books that you thought you'd never read again, and
Yeah.
you can repurpose them.
that's right. And some of them, even if it's not the prettiest, just turn it around so that the spine is at the back and all you can see are the sheets of paper. And then it's a nice neutral palette that you can be working with. So
Right.
there's all sorts of ways.
I was gonna say on that maximalism trend, I feel like that's where wallpaper is making that big, right?
Oh,
'Cause it's,
yes.
again, it's that extra layer of,
100%.
visual.
We're working on a project right now and we have just like the wildest wallpaper.
Right.
And I cannot wait. Yes.
That's awesome.
I mean, and that's come a long way too with like the stick and peel where you can just change it at your leisure.
Yes, it's not as
amazing.
cumbersome.
So we actually, at the interior design show, and then I'll let us move on to another one, but this just reminded me, they had a whole booth where it was wallpaper, but it was not paper. It was basically like, and it adheres to the wall, but it was fabric. And you can take it off, launder it, roll it up and store it, put it up on another space, or put it back up where it was. That was my face.
That
I was
is
like,
so
what?
cool.
Yeah, absolutely crazy. And if you touch it, it's like, it's
And
fabric.
a neat way to bring texture into a room.
Yeah.
Like a builder-based
Totally.
home that has.
Well, it just
But
even
can
like a
you
little
imagine
feature
like the
wall.
wallpaper, it
Yeah.
starts to lose its color and you can
Mhm.
literally freshen it up in the washing machine.
Yeah,
That's
Game
amazing.
I
changer.
know.
I'm in.
Whoever came up with that one. I just wanted to
draw
shout
on it
out
and
to
I can wash
Anna's
it.
watching from the mom market.
Hi, Anna.
Awesome. Well, I guess, was that it for
Yeah.
trends? I wanted to ask about something we frequently get asked too when a home is getting ready to come to the market. What are some quick little things that people could do to prepare their home? Like little, we were calling it home improvement, but not a huge job, but quick little things that can really elevate a space.
Yep, so I'll give it to you from a staging perspective. So the simplest thing, I mean, okay, I'm gonna call it simple. Sometimes it's time consuming, is paint.
Right.
Always paint. This is like
Please
the
paint.
number one thing. And even if it might already be a neutral color, it doesn't hurt to freshen it up. You can tell when a room has been freshly painted versus it has not been
And
painted for a
magic
while.
erasers go a long way.
Yes.
Yes, 100%. So paint is always like, I always say, if I am only allowed to tell you one thing to do, it's more than likely going to be to paint. So that's the biggest bang for your buck. Something else is your window coverings. Your daughter might love the pink with the butterflies on it. Somebody else is not going to love that. And you can run to Walmart, you can run to HomeSense and just get a nice neutral window covering. And if you already have a window covering on, then don't be afraid to just take the drapes down. Sometimes it's easier to just clean it up.
Right.
Can I touch on that
Yeah,
one too?
absolutely.
So that's from the staging perspective. From the real estate perspective, window coverings generally get written into a deal. So if you do have ones that you're madly in love with and you insist that they come with you to the next house, take them down.
Take
Yes,
them
I had a
Pack
tower.
them away and replace them with something light, airy, neutral,
Mhm.
or luxurious, whatever your
Yes.
choice,
Mhm.
that you're not gonna mind leaving behind.
Yes, that's a good point.
100%.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, and then the last thing is those little things that sometimes you don't think about. So a huge one is face plates, like electrical covers.
Yeah.
If they're yellow or cream, or you have installed a custom one with your child's name on it, all of these things should come down and be switched out to new ones. And then another one is your doorknobs. So if you've got doorknobs that are tarnished or dented, or they're all mismatched. That's like the quickest, easiest thing that you can possibly do to more than likely update the feel of the entire home.
And they're easy to come by now. Like,
Oh,
I've
yeah.
got a huge pack of black ones off of Amazon, and they were
Yes.
reasonably priced,
Yeah.
so very easy to get.
Yes.
Yeah.
Awesome. So next on the docket, now we've talked about design trends for 2023 as a whole. We want to know for the people that are thinking of listing in the spring, because spring is here for the real estate market. In case you are unaware, you should be preparing now if you want to
Yes.
list in the spring.
Yes.
So spring specific,
Mhm.
what colors and trends, if they're looking to spruce up their home, maybe they can't invest in staging, or maybe they're just looking to spruce up their home themselves, they're not selling. What are the spring trends?
So spring is always kind of one of the easiest ones to play with because you can't go wrong with the light colors, branches. I mean, even, okay, well, we live in Canada, so spring is all relative, but I've even suggested to people, once your trees are kind of budding, go snip a few branches, stick them in a vase that is not glass, so do not make it see-through.
Right.
And this is gonna cost you $0, because I'm sure we all have a vase sitting around our house.
Oh,
Blush tones, these are always something that you can really easily incorporate for spring. And then just, you know, soft textures. So moving a little bit away from, if you've got your fur throws out, just tuck those away and you can get a nice light crochet. I mean, you go to IKEA, you can get one of those crocheted blankets that will last forever for like $12.
Yeah.
As heavy as like
Exactly,
a fur or the
something
shirt
light.
fur.
Yes, if it feels light to you, it will likely feel light to somebody else, and that often translates into spring. Yeah.
And then those pops of color, like you said, like pinks have really come back. And pink doesn't mean it
Yes.
has to be a girly space.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
can
no.
really throw in, like even in this
Mhm.
rug, there's little hints of pink
Yeah.
here and there.
Yeah.
Nice.
And you can just call it a different name.
Yeah.
Just not say pink.
Yes.
It can be
Yes.
anything, yes, yeah.
Salmon. That's
Yeah.
Salmon.
Yes, yes.
Oh, that's awesome. So that's awesome about spring market. Anything else to add to that one? I think that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I mean, spring market is coming. We're seeing it. We're getting more and more calls for consults, people getting ready to list. So for us, we're kind of on that trajectory where it starts to get busy, and that's exciting. I think,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
and I think people are kind of ready. I won't touch into what you guys are doing, but I think people are settling into the idea of this is where we are.
100%. Yeah.
And don't
We
forget outside. Don't forget to
Oh,
springify, you know, that curb appeal.
Yeah.
Clean it up, make sure you're cleaning off all the salt and all the dirty snow
Windows,
and windows especially. Yeah, windows are a big one.
Window cleaning goes a long way.
Yes, very much. For your top 3 questions that people will ask you, what would you say you get asked on a regular?
Pay attention, folks.
She's
This usually
answering your
yes,
question right
yes.
now.
Okay, so the number one question that we ever get asked is where we buy things. That's
Oh,
like
good.
the
Oh my
okay,
God.
so I won't answer it. Yeah, that. But
Answer.
okay, so that's our number one question by far. Like,
Yeah.
and we'll go in and stage a house, and I'll get an email. Oh, where is this rug from? Can we buy this piece of art from you? Where did you get this?
Art's huge.
Art is
Definitely.
huge, and art's tough
Yes.
because it can be really hard to find. And yeah, and you know, a lot of times we'll just end up going to HomeSense, but often their art is damaged right from the get-go. So art is a tricky one. I would say we do a huge mixture. So obviously we do HomeSense, you know, we do little boutique style stores. We will get things from wherever we can find. Wayfair, we do have wholesalers as well. But the boutique ones are fun. So I'll give a shout out to The Perfect Piece in Harrison.
Yes.
She's
Oh,
well
yes.
worth, she's
Yeah.
well worth a drive out. It's a beautiful drive. There's amazing bakeries on the way.
She's on
And
Instagram too.
She's on Instagram at The Perfect Piece.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. And so all of those little places we love to even be supporting as another small business, woman-owned business. She's a small woman-owned business. So that's always great to be able to do. And there's a few that have opened in Waterloo. So a quick Google search, if you just look up, you know, home decor stores in this area, those are a lot of the same places that we'll be going to.
And you get a bunch of your furniture or some from StrucTube as well.
We
right?
do, yes. StrucTube is great. StrucTube, the problem with them sometimes is that they get so backlogged.
Yes.
And stuff is like, oh, this is available in July 2023. Okay, great. That's not helpful. But yes,
But
they
they're
do
like-
have
they're
great
not-
pieces.
IKEA.
No,
and
they're not.
like a
Yes.
boutique.
Yeah, they're very midline and their quality is really great for the price. Really
Yeah.
great for the price. Yeah, when given the chance, I will always go there over IKEA.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And then the second question that we get asked the most probably is, what color should we paint our walls? That's, and it's not even like because we're on a stage. We'll get direct messages to Instagram or whatever, like, hey, painting our walls, and we don't really know where to begin.
Yeah.
Yeah, and sometimes that's tricky because I'm like, well, I don't know what your house
Looks
looks
like,
like.
yeah.
This is just a message. So that's another question. This is another question that
Can
we
you
get asked.
send reference photos? please?
Yes, and then, and then another question is often in regards to layout. Like how to lay out a space, the space isn't working for us, like what would you suggest in here? And then sometimes when we go into stage, we lay it out and they come in and they're floored because they're like,
never gonna
why,
find it.
yeah,
Yeah.
why did I have my bed in front of the window? I could have put it here.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
one of the things, because usually we do business with you in relation to staging for real estate, but so many clients are like, what? She does home consultations too?
I was
Like,
just gonna
just
say, yeah.
regular people, you can hire Esther and her crew to come in and do a consultation with you. That
Yes.
runs, what, 300?
A design consultation is $350, but I'll just plug us for a second right here is that we have a
Yes.
really exciting new extension to our business coming, which is going to be very much related to this. So keep an eye.
Awesome.
Okay.
That's exciting.
Amazing.
Awesome. So the next, that was your.
Yeah, that's my top 3 questions.
All right. Okay. Insight on spring inventory. So obviously you guys are called ahead of time. Especially because homes are sitting a little longer now. We need to make sure that you've got the inventory to stay in there for up to 60 days if needed.
Mhm.
What are you seeing in the real estate space as far as inventory coming up? Is it like, when do you think most of the people are saying they're ready to come to market, like to go in and stage? And then what cities are you getting the most calls in?
Yeah, so February. People are really anxious to be on the market as soon as possible.
Before the end of the month.
So
Which
when
we
we
normally
spring
recommend.
market, yeah.
Yes.
That spring
Yeah.
market's coming,
Yes.
February.
I think everybody though is like hopping on that this year. In past years, it's been like, oh yeah, there's a few people getting on in February. Most people are coming on in March. But it seems there's like a real push right now from what we're seeing for people to want to be getting on in February. So
And I sometimes wonder if that's the mindset of you get a little bit more when there's less inventory than
Yes.
spring market, so everyone's
Yeah,
trying
I
to jump
think
in
so.
before that.
Yeah.
And really all we're doing is pulling spring market forward a bit, so.
yeah, I think so. And I think that there's been people possibly who had their homes relatively ready,
Yes.
and now are just like, okay, now we're
Now's
going.
the time.
Well,
Well, because it was
yeah.
so quiet back in December, I was
Yeah.
just chatting with some people and they were like, it was so dead in December, we were just waiting, and then all of a sudden in January, stuff started moving, and they're like, we need to get on, so there's
Yes.
kind of that panic sort of listing phase. now.
Yes, and everyone wants to be listed in like the next 3 days.
Yeah, so good luck.
So it's fun.
But you
Yes.
make it work every
Call us
time.
ahead of time.
Yes. Give us some time.
Can we get a time check? on
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
25.
this? So I think maybe what we'll do is move on to the interactive, so we have time for market.
Yeah.
We were gonna talk a little bit about the couch scenario, but I think for time sense, we should maybe just move into the bedroom.
Yep.
And then if we have time. 4 ladies in the bedroom, but what we're doing is we're gonna take a look at how to perfectly design and style a bed. We're gonna kind of pull in that spring trend. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the phones and the laptop here. We're gonna take you with us to the other room. Bear with us while we walk. It'd be a little Blair Witchy, but we will get you there in one piece, okay?
As long as none of us go missing.
Yes.
It'll be fine.
I mean, it's a big house.
But you're gonna learn how to make a bed like a pro. So
Absolutely.
If you
it's
happen
gonna
to
be
have any
great.
questions, anyone that's watching, now would be a good time to plug them in the chat here, and I'm monitoring, and as we make our way over, we can make sure that we answer those questions.
All right,
There you
after
guys
you
go.
ladies.
Trolling.
Here we go. Let's go, guys.
Oh, she turned off her beautiful Jasmine.
Oh, yeah, that was some buttons.
All right, so just touring through here. So this is a guest bedroom. We've got you already set up in here. Got a blank bed that we're going to be starting with.
Hi Cindy, I see that you're watching.
Hi, Cindy.
Thank you.
So we are going to have Esther walk us through the steps to designing this bed to make it the best possible luxurious, I'm gonna jump into this and go to sleep for 17 hours possible.
Yes.
Or if you're like me, you're afraid to touch it because you're never going to be able to get it.
Well, I feel like right now, like bedrooms are trendy.
Very
Like, I don't know if
trendy,
it's
yeah.
the algorithm just showing me constantly reels of beautiful, dreamy bedrooms, but like, yes, that whole nice, comfy bed that you just want to hop into seems to be really on trend. So
Well, I feel like
Please show
for
us
me,
how.
I've always done the English military style where you just fold it over. Do you want to stand faster and help her?
Right.
And fold it
Yes.
over, and it's very flat. There's no volume to
Right.
it.
And that's
Yeah.
where people get kind of confused, is why is my bed falling flat? Like, why isn't it looking the way that other people's beds look? And that's because it's all about layers.
right.
Mhm.
So you need those layers, you need that volume in order to give it that feel where, I can't remember which one of you said it, but
Yeah.
oh, I just want to jump into this
Right.
bed and
Yeah.
settle in. So
Right.
it's pillows and layers.
Okay.
Okay.
So it has nothing to do with the puffiness of your
Duvet.
Duvets.
No, because here's
They're not
the
layering
thing.
duvets because I see that.
So yes, but
Okay.
here's the thing, right?
Yeah.
Is that a lot of times a duvet, then you have the cover, then you're having to take things apart and wash it. And I don't know if you've done this, but the duvet insert never ends up quite right inside the
No.
space.
I literally
my
hate it.
daughter's bed
Yeah.
and shaking the damn
Yeah.
thing trying to get it to go
So
back
there
to
is
the
no
top.
winning scenario for there. Because
Okay.
if there was, we would know it.
I
It's
wish.
just, it's not.
Okay.
It doesn't work.
So that's what I needed.
So-
I'm out of here.
So a lot of times people will then shift into a bedspread, which is great, but that is much more flat. So that's why you have to have those extra pieces and extra elements and kind of know how to make it to give it that zhuzh.
Teach us,
Okay.
Esther.
Yeah,
Give
so
us
we're gonna
everything.
start off with just a really flat bedspread here.
Mhm.
It's nothing fancy, it's just plain white. And I like to start with a plain white because it can be bleached and washed
Yes.
and
Yeah.
whatever. So if this is your base, because this is the thing that you're gonna be laundering the most, this is not a problem because we're gonna elevate it.
And
Okay?
if you were going to invest in anything,
Yeah,
put the money into high quality, just basic.
no,
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 okay.
honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, it for me, it doesn't matter. I would rather spend the money on my sheets
Right.
because that's what I'm gonna feel and that's what's gonna touch me.
Actually touch
Your bedspread, no,
Okay.
because depending on how you're gonna style your bed,
Mhm.
you're gonna end up not even seeing very much of this.
Right.
Okay.
So yeah, I wouldn't.
So I'm fine with
spend-
my Amazon.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't spend a lot of money on it because then you don't feel bad like when you're laundering it and like, oh shoot, there's like a stain and I dropped my lipstick on it and whatever.
Right.
You don't care.
Right.
And you can always elevate.
Sorry to my husband, but he always harps on me for buying a white one because men sweat
Yes.
and it turns yellow and
Yeah.
it's very difficult to get out. And I'm like, but if it wasn't white, then I wouldn't be able to launder it as
Yes.
like
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
it's a
Okay.
catch-22.
So the first thing that we're going to do
Jacqueline's
is,
husband.
So he doesn't watch
He doesn't watch.
so you want to just pull yours back a little bit. So you know
Okay.
the line, you can't see what we're doing. So the line at the top of your sheet, your bedspread or duvet should just be below that. So
That
this
little
like
crease
your
here.
seam, like basically where it's stitched.
Okay.
I think we all know.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna do one big fold over,
Okay.
okay, and then you're going to take that seam and tuck it underneath.
Okay, so it's the
Okay.
sheet and the
Sheet and the comforter that are coming back, and then just tuck that down. I feel like I'm gonna like pop up right in front of you. Okay.
Yeah.
Nope.
Take that and just tuck it down into the side of the bed, not into the mattress, down into the side of the bed.
Frame. Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
What if
Okay.
you don't have a side?
Then
Go
you're
backward.
just gonna let it drape. But if you
Right.
have a side, so I'm just like showing what should be for this particular bed. So
Right.
Yeah.
if you have a side of the bed, you want to have it tucked because
Tucked
it looks tidier.
So if you don't have this, don't tuck it at all.
Yes,
just let it
disregard.
go. All right.
Okay. So then
I'm just picturing people tucking it in under their mattress.
no, please don't do that.
I
No.
can see your box spring.
Yeah, no. And if you can see your box spring, this bed doesn't have it. But I like to buy two fitted
Fitted.
sheets, and so then you're not seeing the pattern of your
Oops.
box
The
spring.
box spring.
Yeah, really
Sorry.
important. Okay, so then we're gonna start with our Euros because this just gives a nice backdrop to the rest of the pillows and it adds some height and dimension. And these are especially great if your headboard is ugly, which
What size is this?
Mm.
Like, is this a 20 by 20 or?
this is just a standard Euro size.
Oh, it's a Euro.
Yeah,
This
and
is
they
an actual
usually
pillow.
come in packs of yes. They usually come in sets of 2, which is kind of irritating because if you're doing a king size bed,
That was
you
my
really,
question. Yes.
you
What's the
really do
formula for
want
king?
you really do want 3.
3. Okay.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
crud.
Yeah.
All
Yeah,
right.
somebody needs to fix that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so then we're going to come in with our sleeping pillows. And just line those up.
So hole on the inside.
Hole on the inside.
Yes, definitely.
Always,
You don't want to
yes.
see that inside of your pillow.
Okay.
Okay, now we're going to have some fun with the decorative pillows. And this is where you can really get creative. So these pillows are actually Laloy.
Oh, yes, like the rugs.
Oh, yes, amazing. I was going to
yes.
say, I don't know if anybody's going to know this.
Yes.
We bought these at High
Nice.
Point. Hence, they still have their tags. I'm hoarding in a little bit. But that's okay. This happens.
I
Okay.
would too.
And
Yes.
always a feather insert.
Yes.
We had this conversation
Whenever
before coming
possible,
on, too.
it gives you that shape that people want.
Mhm.
The cotton or other ones stuffed are great the first time you use them. But once you've if you've put your head on it or you put your elbow on it while you were relaxing, those are never getting their shape back.
Yeah,
Right.
Period.
Okay.
So you have to throw it away or
Right.
restuff it. And who's doing that?
No.
Right.
I
So
did
if
that
you
in
want
my,
the
home tech
beautiful
class.
Yeah.
karate chop pillows, go with the
Downfilled.
Feather.
Yeah.
All right, can you show us this
Okay.
karate chop?
So we're gonna
Wait,
go
your lines
vertical
aren't-
with the stripes because we always want to be drawing the eye up.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
See, vertical here.
Mhm. Okay, now we're going to incorporate some color and drama. And the other thing that's going to be happening is pattern and pattern on pattern, which is another thing that people get scared
it
of.
stresses us out.
Right.
So much.
And it can be done so well. Okay. So you basically what you want to do is just start with your base pillow and then build from there. So I think it was you that was saying you get in the
Mhm.
homestead store and you're just like super confused. Yeah.
I
So-
also do the same
Hate
thing.
it.
Yeah. And I
Okay.
leave with none.
Right. So
Exactly.
start with your base. So what I did was I started with this one because I knew that I wanted to incorporate this. And so then I started building around it, even my throw blanket. So next time you're in HomeSense, you see a pillow that you absolutely love. Okay, well, that pillow is probably not going to work with the other things that you have at home because it just never does. That's how we keep buying more.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Tell my closet that.
while
now.
you're in
My
there,
husband.
Yes.
yeah, while you're in there, just bite the bullet and find some complementary pieces so that you can come home and put together a look and not feel stressed out.
Right.
I
Okay.
think my problem though is it's the color of my couch and then matching or
Right.
not matching. Like it's that whole dilemma that I run into.
Right.
I don't
And
have a,
sometimes we're just overthinking it.
Mhm.
Mhm.
probably me. That
Yeah.
that sounds
Mhm.
like me.
I find that a lot of the time. Yeah. You're probably doing just great and you don't even know it.
Because your couch is like blue
So here
or
I'm
it's,
gonna
yeah.
think that you
Mhm.
pulled out this.
Yes. So what we wanted to do is kind of pull from these so that you're mixing and matching, but you don't want it to be matchy-matchy.
Right.
Complementary is the word that you want to be using. Not
Right.
matching, complementary. Okay, so we're gonna throw this one up here in the middle, and that one's gonna get the chop. Do you want to do the honors? Go for it.
Yahoo! And then don't touch it.
Don't
Yes,
touch
it's
that.
perfect.
And here's the other thing: people can get carried away with the chopping.
Yep.
Not every pillow needs to, nor should it be chopped. So
Oh, learn something.
I know, I was like, why are you chopping those?
Okay. All right, I'm glad.
Like, this is basic
I'm glad I
knowledge,
touched on
ladies.
that. Okay. Yes. So the reason, especially here, is this is actually a larger pillow than our two back ones, right?
Ah.
So if I'm chopping everything, first of all, it's becoming all looking the same, and you always want that kind of differentiation. Plus, then these are going to look too small. So when you're putting a pillow that you're not going to chop, super important. Cut
Flatten
it
it
out flat,
out.
and then give it like a nice little shape,
Okay.
and then you'll
Okay.
get those nice like
Points.
that
Jessica,
nice.
yours doesn't look the same as
Yeah,
yours.
honestly,
Can
Jessica,
you flatten
get
it
with
out?
it.
Oh, man. You need to spend a day with us, and then you're
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
your
we
pillows will
do.
be nice and sharp.
There you go.
And then you could leave it like this, no problem.
Okay.
But I like to just take it up one more notch. So we're just gonna throw this guy in front just to kind of bring. Yes,
I have that pillow.
Oh,
You
winning
win.
at
I'm already
life.
there.
There
I'm
you
already
go.
there.
Yeah.
Trend.
You win.
I
Okay.
find the lumbar pillows very hard to find.
Yes,
They're few and
they
far
can be.
between. Mhm,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that's
they
beautiful.
can be.
I
But
like
yeah,
it.
a nice neutral lumbar is gonna go a long way.
All right.
And obviously this piece of art would be hung. I do not. Just a note.
Yes.
I love to lean art, not on a bed. Not not a good
Sarah
idea.
took note about it
Not a
earlier
good
today.
idea.
too.
Yeah.
I was like, that's not gonna work.
So but
Yeah.
then it's like this looks lovely just how it is,
Mhm.
but
Right.
Take it up a
Now,
level.
again, you can leave it like this, or this comes back to where I said, bring in some color on your bed. This is a really simple way. And I'm going to show you two different options, I think. I have a blue
it's
one.
in that. It's in there.
Okay,
Sorry.
perfect.
Yes.
Nope, that's okay. All right. So we're just going to throw this over the edge. And now this is another place to not be stressed out. Okay. A throw blanket is not meant to be perfect. In fact, the more kind of like natural it looks, the better it's going to be.
Oh yeah, we
This
have
is my
to.
most stress.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
I
don't.
literally
Okay,
cannot
just
do
make
it.
it just like a little bit wider.
Mhm.
Okay. And then for that extra layering, because you need blankets. People need blankets,
Mhm.
especially women. We get cold.
Yeah.
And on a guest bed, this is
Yes.
fantastic.
Yeah.
See,
If it's
Deborah,
in the
home
basement.
inspection, I see you on there. I need blankets.
Yeah, I said it's true. It's right.
Esther said
Okay. So we're just gonna kind of like bunch this up in the middle. And now you've got your layering towards the end of the bed. You could have even, if you wanted to, folded this one back twice, which would have given you extra like oomph up here.
Mhm.
So play with it. There's no like right or wrong. There's a formula, but at the end of the day, you can do it how you want to do it. And this is like important even just when you're doing your own house or your own house. So trends are great, but trends come and go. And the most important thing is that you should be designing your house in a way that makes you feel happy.
Right.
So if you love white or gray, great.
Right.
Do those things. And you know what? You shouldn't even be hopping on every single trend, because then your house starts to look very chaotic. Can you imagine if you were doing like something in here and then, you know, something out there, earth tones in here, and then you're like velvety,
Or
like
changing
Art
your
Deco
Yeah.
styles out there. There's going to be no cohesion. So
Yeah.
just do
Yeah,
what
too
feels right for you. And then the other thing that you can do is, does somebody want to grab me that
Right
one?
inside that door there, Jacqueline? Inside the door, in the
Yeah.
door.
Oh,
in the room.
inside
Yeah. Right there.
Woo, yeah. So if bright color scares you, or this is like a crazy color to you,
Mhm.
you can go with something much more standard. And
Yeah,
oh,
I
very
match.
nice.
I know.
We're just gonna do this kind of messy because it's not really folded. Okay, and we're just gonna. This would look better. Don't do it the way that I'm doing it. Yeah. Okay, next wider.
Sir.
Yeah, wider.
Okay.
Perfect. So then this is where this would be laying much flatter. This is a situation where I would say you're gonna want to pull your main piece out a little more.
Right, okay.
Okay, you can kind of like see what we're doing here in a very messy, informal way.
But this is also what's so great about a neutral,
Yes,
like bedding and
Yeah.
comforter.
that's right. And you can see like this one pillow has given us all of these options, right?
Yeah.
So we could have even gone with a brown tone. Also note, brown is coming back.
Yes.
I know some people are horrified. I don't think it's the worst thing.
Just
And
brown-
all of these
brown
still tie in with the art.
Mhm.
So don't be afraid. Get yourself like a pillow that has options in it, and that'll really make things a little bit easier.
One question I had for you is, I've also seen the trend of like grayish coming back or beige coming back.
Yes.
Not in the way we used to do it,
Right.
but did you see that as a?
Yes,
Yes.
it
Okay.
is. And
As
actually,
the neutral, like.
yes, as the neutral. And actually my favorite color in that landscape right now is a Sherwin-Williams color called Shiitake.
Oh,
I've heard of
this.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a really beautiful,
Warm.
like warm, it's gonna lean more taupe kind of brown, less grayish.
Okay.
But I
but
think they have
it's-
it listed, if you go to, and you type in under the grays, it comes
I
up.
think it is under there.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. And grayish is a word that's gonna really confuse people.
Yeah, or turn people off too, because
Yeah.
we've been there. Really, we're going back to that. So
Yes.
that was our conversation.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
Ultimately,
not-
it's warmth. That's
Right.
what people are wanting.
Not
Okay.
that yellowy undertone beige, though.
No.
Let's never go back there.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
No, please no.
So before we leave this beautiful bed, I know Sarah has been dying to get you to show us how to,
Just show me.
instead of
Just-
doing the layered version, what if they just wanted to throw the
You like
blanket
it?
over?
Oh, a
That
throne blanket.
never
Yes.
lands the
Because
way
you
that
always
do
just do it, and
Okay.
I walk in the room, and then, or like, your client goes to bed, and they like take the whole bed apart, and then they come back the next morning, and
Yeah.
they throw it, and I'm like, that's not how Esther had it.
No,
I don't know what you're doing.
And please,
Epic fail.
please, for the love of all that is good,
Yes.
stop folding your blankets like this. I'm gonna offend somebody here right
Oh,
now.
it's me.
It's
And
me.
putting it over the edge of your bed. Don't do this. Don't do it.
Take
Okay?
us, Esther.
Yes,
Yes.
don't do it.
Okay.
Not anymore. Okay.
Not anymore.
So basically what
At
you
one
just
point
kind
I
of
was
want to do is really not overthink it at all, because otherwise you'll be here all day trying to make it lay. You sort of want to just bunch it in the middle, not dead in the middle, but picture if you're like hanging your towel on a hook to dry. Just
Right.
kind of in that sense.
Okay.
Okay. And then just throw it and walk away.
Okay, but that was beautiful. Mine never lands like that.
Give it a try. Give it a try.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'm gonna do it.
use that one.
Unfold that though, or
Wait,
else
wait.
it's gonna
Yeah.
yell at you.
Not in the middle.
Bunch it up a little.
Oh, bunch
I
it
love
up.
this. This is
Yeah.
cozy.
Bunch it up a little like this.
Get it in the right spot. Yep, that looks good.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Nailed it.
I'm done here.
We have done good work here
Right.
today. We have done good work. Yeah.
So this is what I do, and then I'm like, that doesn't look right
No.
at that angle.
Oh,
Well,
no,
no,
now you
now it
messed it all
doesn't.
up.
Yep, no,
Yep.
now it doesn't.
Okay, I'm out of here.
Amazing. We're gonna watch the pro do it.
Do you remember like the bend and snap from Legally Blonde? Okay. Bunch.
Don't make me do that.
Bro.
There's our next
Got it.
reels.
Yeah, and snap.
Yeah.
Oh God, you know.
That's awesome.
This is amazing.
Amazing.
Wonderful.
Hopefully everybody learned something here. I do not throw blankets. That's
You're
not
just
how
gonna
it
call Esther every time. Esther, I made my
Yeah.
bed.
Yeah.
I've got guests coming. Come throw my
Not
bed.
working.
Yeah.
Come throw a blanket.
Thank you
Great.
so
Thank
much.
you. You're
for coming on
welcome.
the show today.
Always fun to join you guys.
We always learn a ton.
Yes.
And yeah, now if you guys want to hear what's happening in the real estate market, we're going to take you back to the original location. Leave
Let
Esther
Esther
here.
put her room
with
back
this,
together.
I folded some blankets. You know, I'm
It
a
looks
mom,
great.
man.
I
That
think
was
I'm just
folded?
I'm gonna cut the tags off and hang the art and leave it like this.
Yes.
Today's the day.
Yes.
Today's the day.
I love
It's
it.
perfect.
I love this color.
Yeah, I love all of them actually, even the blue.
Amazing.
All right, guys, we're gonna head back over Blair Witch you again. Jess, you wanna?
Is it always a
Oh,
I don't know
Stacey's
why.
asking the paint color in this room.
Oh, this I
Oh.
have no idea. But which Stacy is it?
Stacey Trump.
Oh man,
Yeah.
Stacy, don't paint it this color. If I wasn't moving, I would be painting it.
Gray is going out.
She
Yeah.
says no, Stacey.
Don't do it.
No, Stacey.
Okay. So Stacey, DM Esther and she'll tell you
Yes.
later what you need to paint it.
Thank
Yes,
you,
I will.
Esther.
Dark and moody.
Thank
See
you.
you
Dark and moody all the way. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Let's follow Sarah.
Beautiful. Oh, hey, guys.
Hi, hi.
You getting a beautiful tour as we walk through here? All right, now for the not as fun stuff.
I find this fun.
It's
I like market stats. Woo!
Just like magic, we're back. Hi there.
Sorry, Sarah and I are tripping each other with the cords.
Give
Okay.
us a moment to just get resituated here.
Okay.
Oh my gosh, the sunshine today.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Lovely.
Situation, is that better?
Yeah, that's better. Perfect.
Do you want to sit on the chair this time, or you come back to the couch?
I'll sit on the chair. I'll look special.
You in?
Oh, is that Esther's phone? I'm just gonna run and give Esther her phone.
So,
You're welcome. Thank you.
we have a lot to talk about in terms of market stats. I think people will be very surprised because again, we're going to contradict the news headlines a little bit. I think Sarah was going to start with Dufferin County just to give us a broad overview of what we've seen.
Yeah, so I think it's to your point, like you're seeing a lot of the, oh my goodness, people aren't buying houses, all that jazz. It's still, anytime you look at the actual stats, it's going to prove you wrong. Like in December, yes, we saw that slowdown, which was very typical for a Christmas ramp up. Everybody's kind of distracted. There was a little bit of uncertainty on where interest rates were going to go. Interest rates did go up a little bit of the last month. And then we've kind of heard from different sources that we should be settling in here for a little while, hoping that we're going to start seeing inflation come down. So I think confidence has come back in the market a little bit in this last month. We kind of spoke to that a little bit earlier. So Dufferin County has actually had 32 sales in January. So we've got in total 115 new houses to the market, which is a ton of inventory, very different from last month. Currently there's 196 active houses for sale or properties for sale in Dufferin County, and that's a whole, so that's including your Shelburnes, your Grand Valleys, your Orangevilles, and your Amarants, Monos, yes, everybody, like all your rural properties as well. Days on market is still sitting around that 42 days on market, which is pretty standard for a normal, healthy market. So you're getting that time to get in. Now, there are some exceptions to that. In the last week or two, I'm starting to see houses go a little bit faster than that 42. I've seen quite a few actually that have gone up within a week and they've sold. So I think that sort of activity is coming back. So we are getting a 95% list to sale price right now, which is great. That means that we're pricing where we need to be. We're getting offers at around list price, maybe a little bit of wiggle room. Remember, negotiations are back. You're very easily able to throw in conditions, negotiate that price, and come up with a deal that works for both sides. And on average, our detached is sitting at $1,018,543. Semis are sitting around 700,000, and your townhouses around 703. So very healthy market, still moving. Properties are definitely a good time to buy, I would say, in Dufferin County.
Definitely a good time to buy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Jess, you want to dive into Orangeville?
Orangeville is much the same. I mean, we saw, well, I should say change from December. I think we can all agree that December was kind of the outlier in terms of activity. It was pretty slow. We even mentioned that last month that when we were looking at average prices, that it was a true reflection of the minute amount of transactions that happened. So we kind of had to take that with a grain of salt. So average price overall is sitting around $830,577, which is up. The detached prices are up 16% from what we saw in December, which that kind of shows you where that lack of activity in December really pulled things down.
I think we got like increases, either small increases across the board for price, inventory, stuff.
Everything.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We were 17 sales in December. We were 21 in January. 36 new properties to the markets. And we're still sitting at around 2 months of inventory, which is still classic seller's market. Even though the negotiation side, as Sarah said, in terms of a buyer, including those conditions, that's the very welcomed process that we're happy to see. Same sentiments, 39 days on market, 96% list price to sale price. I think the big thing here when we're discussing all of these prices, I wanted to make note that we feel as if all of these interest rate increases, how fast they were happening, it really put a shock to everybody and a pause. Transactions were still happening, but obviously it was a real slowdown compared to what we saw in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But when we talk about conflicting the news headlines, this whole idea of the increase in interest rates versus the price decrease that we've seen is not in line. So, for lack of a better term, shits and giggles, I went back to see.
Oh, Jessica.
When we talk about overall year over year prices in general for Orangeville, we're down 11%. January of 2022 to January of 2023.
Keeping in mind that January 2022 was the peak of the market.
Was at the peak. So if we go back to pre-pandemic, which is when we saw all the craziness kind of take off, we're still up from January 2019 to January 2023, 47% in our average prices. So if we were to look at a healthy 5% increase, which is the average that we see year over year in terms of equity gain, if we go roll the time back to January of 2019, we were sitting at $562,000 as the average price.
So basically, if we erased the
last 2 years,
we erased the bubble.
Yeah.
We would be sitting only now 5% year over year, 2019 to 2023, at $650,000 as the average.
And what did we say the average was?
$830,000.
$200,000 difference.
Yeah. Now that's the overall average, all different
Averages.
types of housing.
Yes.
Just in general, the average in Orangeville.
But in basic terms, if you bought pre-2019, you've still made money.
You've made
You're
money.
doing all
You're doing
right.
great.
Yes.
46%
Yep.
increase. Like
Yep.
that's unheard of.
Yeah.
I mean, everything we're experiencing right now is kind of unheard of. We're paving new roads here.
Yep.
But nothing to shake your head at.
No, and I think if you roll back and think of people that thought maybe last year or the year prior considered selling, but it was that, lack of a better term again, greed that was taking place. You're trying to time the peak of the market to get the most out of your house to make that move. Well, yes, we've missed the boat. That's true. But you've still got a ton of equity that you're sitting on
And you're now not going to be overpaying and losing equity in your new home.
for the purchase.
I say that's like the biggest takeaway because there are a lot of people right now sitting in a situation where they have, according to now, overpaid.
Right.
And they can't sell because
They're looking at a long-term 5-10 year plan right now to be able to get the equity and go.
investors that bought pre-construction that was inflated and they're selling them off for significantly less than they bought them for now. So if you didn't take advantage of the bubble, you did a good thing, and to sit and wait, and now is a great time. It's more balanced. You're basically selling for what you're going to be buying for. Like, it's relative now.
Back to how it always was.
Granted,
Yeah.
I mean, people made a lot of money with the free interest rates that were going around. Like, you were making a little bit of extra leeway there, but interest rates, like prime has been consecutively coming down. The US has shown 4 months of coming down. They're great market in the US, and typically we follow those same sort of trends. So we're seeing things starting to move. If the variable, which is what everybody's focusing on and not noticing that prime has come down so much, your fixed rate, thank you. I do that every time. It's come down for the last few months, and make sure you're talking to mortgage brokers and looking at all of the different options, not listening to the media, because the media is pushing the variable as your information, and that's not necessarily the best option for you.
Please don't get your main source of the market condition from the news.
No. And if you're at a point of renewal, or you're thinking, or you just want to check and see where you sit now, reach out to any one of us at any time. Free home evaluation is a service that we all offer. And just to check in, it doesn't have to imply that you're thinking of selling, but you may be pleasantly surprised, and you may be in a better financial position, even in terms of renegotiating your mortgage, than what you thought that you were. So just wanted to plug that.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you want to go over the detached semi in town?
Detached, we had I think it was like 7 something in December. We're sitting at 909,000 for January. There wasn't any semi sales, and towns are sitting at 708. Again, I didn't go and pull what that exact was, because obviously at the height of the bubble we were over $1 million for some of the newer built townhouses. I'm not sure. I'm not gonna guess that that's not one of the newer ones, because they're still selling for around 850.
Correct. That would be a lower.
Yeah.
Actually, one of the ones on Spring.
Probably pulled that down, which is like a $500,000 town. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That was all I had for Orangeville.
So Shelburne is a bit of a different story. I mean, it always is, but because it is that bit of an extra distance from your major centers, people are getting back to having to commute for work, even if just like a couple times a week. So we've taken a really hard hit in Shelburne as far as sales. Prices are doing okay, but we actually are down because we were only selling 8 or 9 a month for the last 3 months.
Right.
We only had 5 sales in January. Now, again, so I'll go back and give that some context. We have more inventory than Orangeville right now for a town that's like a quarter of the size.
Right.
So there's a ton of inventory, which is flooded with I'd say a quarter of that are assignment sales. Half?
26.
So for anyone that doesn't know, what's an assignment sale?
So an assignment sale is if someone bought something pre-construction, so from the builder, and they're trying to now sell it before it actually closes and they get possession from the builder.
So like before it's fully built.
Right, so it's still under construction. They have not gotten the occupancy permit yet. Now, the issue here, and what I think that's a direct correlation to these numbers, is if that's accounting for half of our inventory, a lot of them are inflated prices because they paid inflated prices, but you cannot see, like you cannot book a showing on an assignment sale because the builders still own the property, and they're also generally unsafe to go into. So it's very tough to sell them.
Right.
Unless they've got pictures of all the finishes and the floor plans and so on, which unfortunately, a lot of them are not listed by local agents here. They're listed by agents where the sellers are, which would be down in the city, and they don't have all of that information available. So it's really dragging down the averages for Shelburne. Days on market for stuff that is selling, we're still pretty healthy at 32 days on market. It came down a little bit.
That's lower than Orangeville.
Lower than Orangeville, right? So the ones that did move. And list to sale price. This is something I want to say, like across the board, we've found for the last few months, the list price versus sale price has been pretty steady.
Yeah.
We are sitting between 5 and 3% under asking. So really healthy buyers aren't coming in and taking your firstborn, but they're feeling like they are getting a bit of a deal. And sellers are still getting a really healthy market value for their home, which is fantastic. So Shelburne sits at 97%.
Perfect.
Great.
Not too bad.
Yep.
Which is a great tool too, because it's helping us finally be able to begin to understand where buyers want prices to be.
And what's affordable?
Yeah,
What's affordable
it's
to a
been
buyer?
very volatile the last few months, right? Like you might have two houses exactly the same. One's listed up here and one's down here. And there's no rhyme or reason as to why, other than kind of confusion
Right. Yeah.
as to where people want them to be.
Yeah.
So towns were 688 in Shelburne. That was the average. The one semi that sold was in Shelburne. It was a 1-year-old build, really nice semi, sold for $700. Detached is up 3% at $837,500, and no condo sales. Now I said earlier that I was going to relate that to Caledon. So we're going to go from the far north end to the far south end that like we typically see.
Right.
201 active listings in Caledon, which is up 13%. So again, their inventory is sitting a little bit longer,
Okay.
so they have more on market.
Right.
That's also a huge span. Caledon.
Yes.
We're
Yes.
talking like Bolton,
Mayfield, all the way
Brampton,
up to
yeah.
So 28 sales, so it was down 6% as far as sales in Caledon. And again, that's normal to see when you have more inventory, more options. But days on market are still 31, so around that month.
It's all sitting around the same as Dufferin.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad. Now, we specify Caledon because it's technically Peel, but many people that live up here kind of consider it because we do border onto Caledon, right?
Right.
So anyway, it's the bang for your buck kind of idea. So if you look at a town in Shelburne, average is 688. Average town in Caledon is 858,000. So way more bang for your buck. But that did drop almost 5% in Caledon last month, and that's month over month. Semis, again, Shelburne, you can buy a brand new semi for $700,000. Well, a year old, okay, for $700,000. Semis in Caledon are $985,500.
And it's that whole commuting, right? It's like, what is it worth it to drive the extra 25 minutes, 30 minutes?
Right.
Yeah.
So what is that? What's that dollar value to you?
Exactly. And that was with a 9% decrease from December. So they were well over $1 million in December.
Yep.
Detached, this surprised me. The detached price in Caledon went up 29%.
Wow.
Yeah, like a lot. And is now sitting at, drum roll, 1.
Excuse me. Oh my gosh, sorry.
I also got drum roll. Sorry.
Perfectly timed.
Perfectly timed. Okay, detached in Caledon averages $1,761,432.
I'd be interested to see what that's pulled from.
Like
It's
what
the
drove
newer
that price
construction.
up?
Like the
Gotcha.
developments, closer to the Mayfield area, there is a ton of new construction in that area.
Oh,
They're
yeah.
very
Okay, we're
large.
talking, yeah.
They're
Very large
large
homes. Yeah.
homes, often 4 or 5 bedrooms, and they are all newer, like most of them 5 years or less, if not brand spanking new.
I don't know, as like an Orangeville girl who doesn't go down to the city much anymore because I don't commute, but I remember driving down and going into the newer subdivisions and not realizing that it had blown up as much as it had. It had like roundabouts, and I was like, where the hell am I?
That's when like Mayfield area used to be
Farmers
no
fields.
man's land.
Yeah.
It is like houses in
Houses
every
galore.
direction.
Yeah.
It's crazy. And then no condo sales in Caledon. So obviously we already know there's a lot more bang for your buck coming up north. If you can do it, oh my goodness, it is
Yeah.
well.
It's a different
worth
way
it.
of life. It's
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But pros and cons to it all, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, that just depends on your lifestyle, what kind of vehicle you drive, like all of those things. You know, we love our trucks up in the Shelburne area, but there have been a lot of people that have had to downsize to a more commuter-friendly vehicle, but to them, it was worth it
Right.
to have like the home that they've always dreamt of in
And property.
a small community, have some land,
Yeah.
and then just drive to work in your really nice, but smaller car.
Right. Make the sacrifice.
How are we doing for time here? We
Our
got
time's up, yes.
All
Time's
right.
up, but I think in a nutshell, we know that the market is healthy, and we know spring market is coming. You got all your tips and tricks today on how to get your house ready. For any more in-depth conversation on that, we all can help you with that.
Yeah.
Give us a shout. Thank you very much to Esther for joining us today from Olive and Ash. You're wonderful. Thank you for giving us the interactive tour. If you guys like that, let us know. We'll maybe see if we can set something else up in some other
Yeah.
location.
do a
That's kind of fun.
Yeah, different room.
Anything else to add, ladies?
We just wanted to plug that we are sponsoring a family skate for Family Day.
Yes.
Monday, the holiday Monday of the Family Day weekend from 1 to 2 p.m. at Alder Red. Come on out, bring your family. There'll be lots of fun. We would love to see you there.
You'll find us in our yellow sweaters.
Oh yes,
The gold,
you won't be able
Sarah.
to miss us.
Gold. Doesn't
Just,
look my skin.
I want to specify because I meant to talk to this to a few people. I've invited them to come, and they were like, "Are we going to get plugged for real estate?"
No,
This is not a real estate
no,
thing.
no.
No, this
We're
is
gonna
come
have
have
our
fun with family.
Beautiful new banner up in case you are interested in, checking out our social or whatever. But we're there to skate with our families too, so please come out and join us. We would love to have you there.
Kids are going to be there. Good luck.
Watch out.
Yeah.
If you
Watch
like
your
this
knees.
episode, please make sure you give us a like
Yes.
and follow us either on YouTube or Instagram at Behind the Sign so that you can stay notified about any other upcoming shows and fun stuff that we have.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you.
thank you for watching. Have
Enjoy
a
your
great
day.
day,
Have a
everybody.
good one.
See you next month.
Now make sure we turn it off properly this time.
Video ended.
Oh, it just did it. I
Okay.
just got